Good morning, everybody. My name is Jan Carruthers, and I am welcoming you to the Unity Center of West Lynn, Oregon. And those of you who are here live with us this morning, and those who you will be seeing this afterwards in the spiritual celebration on YouTube. My name is Jan Carruthers. I'm your service leader, and it's truly my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you and bless you for today and always. In Unity, we believe that each of us dwells in spirit, and each of us is here today by divine appointment. The Unity Center is a ministry where people of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs celebrate the one common spiritual thread that lives in every heart. And if you are returning for after a long time or discovering Unity today for the very first time, we invite you to visit our website, www.worldhealing.org or unity.org, to learn more about Unity Truth Principles. And it's a wonderful website, unity.org, and filled with fabulous resources. And as most of you know, this is a sweet, tender time for our center, and that this is the last of the broadcast services as we're closing the center and this chapter in the life of this community. And in turn, we're inviting you to a new chapter to open for us and for the community and for each other. And so we're looking forward to having a great celebration on July 18th, which will be recorded for future viewing by people who can't be with us. And today we are so excited to welcome two wonderful ministers to celebrate with us. And the first one is Reverend Kathleen Verigin, and I'll introduce her more a little bit later. And the second is Reverend Christine Green, who is a longtime friend of the center and has been speaking for us once each month this year. I want to open with opening prayer with Reverend Christine.
Thank you, Jan. Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today. Please join me as we anchor our time together in prayer. So, taking a breath and finding that centered expression, finding that centered place. Taking another breath. And as you release, surrender any tension, anything that you're holding on to. And so what I know and recognize is as close as the very breath that I breathe is that one presence, that one power, that infinite life. I know this life is good, this life is God, and that this life is love and peace and wisdom and wholeness. How grateful I am to be in this sacred community this day, knowing that this presence is the only presence and power moving in and through and as each one of us. And so it is this glorious day that we come together to celebrate our community, to celebrate all that has been given, to celebrate the friendships, the connections, the experiences, and our connection with Spirit. How grateful I am for this good. So I know today we are lifted in love, surrounded with peace, and our soul radiates into that extraordinary presence of grace. And so with a grateful heart, I release this word with deep gratitude for this blessing, for this day, knowing that we are lifted, we are inspired, and we come together in joy. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Christine. As we begin the celebration today, we'll be using a different order of service and some happy surprises. And with this last piece of recorded music, we remember the foundation of the Unity Center and all Unity fellowships and New Thought churches. And with all the style and doctrine differences, there's one thing that is the multi-faith spiritual through line for everyone in the Unity and the New Thought movement. Sharon? One power. Oh, it's not on there. I'll play it. It's not on there, is it? We'll play it later. Thank you. So there is only one power. And it happens that there are mistakes along the way. The Unity Worldwide Ministries theme for 2021 is how to stay centered no matter what. We've been exploring the 12 powers, one each month. And for June, and it's so appropriate for us as we imagine our own next stage in both the Unity Center communication community, is imagination. And this power is so relevant to us. The Unity Center the Unity co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, used their imaginations, fueled by their deep faith, to constantly adapt and innovate through change after change, stage after stage. And as we deepen our lives, we reach out to include other spiritual communities and new friends in our lives. I want to read one small part of what Charles Fillmore said regarding imagination. In thinking, man accumulates a massive ideas about substance and life, and with his imagination, he makes them into forms. It uses perceptive faculties. It is really the author of these faculties. Size, weight, color, and the like are its children. And it is incumbent upon us to use this powerful tool to create positive, enduring results in our lives. This is, of course, when we use it under the direction of the Christ. We are to release limiting thoughts and feelings to perceive our divine potential. Hold images of self as happy, healthy, prosperous, and joyous, and forget limiting pictures of the past. We have a few affirmations for us to say together. My Christ consciousness expands as I celebrate my oneness with all life. My heart opens and my spirit soars. I release any fear and live in love. I use my imagination, the creative power of spirit, to honor and serve the divine in my fellow beings. And one more. My imagination brings possibilities to life. We are so very happy to have our former director of music, Layla Murphy, with us today to sing a song that we know and love.
Good to see everyone. I see you, you see me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need to see you thrive. You are important to me. I need to see you thrive. I see you, you see me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need to see you thrive. You are important to me. I need to see you thrive. I pray for you, you pray for me. I love you, I need to see you thrive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you, I need to see you thrive. I pray for you, you pray for me. I love you, I need to see you thrive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you, I need to see you thrive. I pray for you, you pray for me. I love you, I need to see you thrive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. Woo, I'm getting choked up. I need to see you thrive. It is God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need to see you thrive. You are important to me. I need to see you thrive. Many blessings, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful for us to have Reverend Kathleen Verigin with us today. She's been a supportive friend of the Unity Center of West Lynn and a personal friend of mine for many, many years. Before becoming ordained, she was a dancer, choreographer, television producer, creator of documentaries, and a publisher. And the little known fact that she doesn't know I'm going to say is that she won an Emmy for a distinctive documentary she produced on child abuse and human trafficking. She found New Thought 30 years ago and went into the ministry, and she led the Abundant Life Center in Vancouver and then founded the independent Anam Cara ministry and just recently retired to seek new adventures. A devotee of Celtic mysticism, she leads workshops, rituals, and for many years has been organizing and leading annual tours to the sacred places in Ireland and Scotland. And her message for us today is entitled, May the Road Rise to Meet You. And directly following on will be Reverend Christine Green, who founded Sacred Heart Ministries and is now the interim senior minister for Center for Spiritual Living in Burbank. Thank you very much, both of you. Kathleen, take it away.
Kathleen, you're on mute.
Well, let's start over. Good morning. It's a privilege to be here today because I know it's a very special day, and as Jan said, kind of a tender day. I love that we're working with the word imagination. So in just a moment, I'm going to read the traditional Irish blessing, and in just a little bit, we're going to use that to transform through our imagination prayers and ceremony to guide us in this time. So I will read the prayer. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Sound familiar? It's been used for many, many years for a variety of topics. I first heard it at my 1969 high school graduation baccalaureate. Remember when we had like a spiritual ritual religious service before graduation? And my mother, the Irish lady, just loved it. So this has been with me for many, many years. But over the years, it's talked to me. I've had more experiences with it that we'll flesh out here today. So this idea of imagination, I want to start with a number of years ago, I was in a waiting room in a doctor's office, and a little girl's playing with like a dollhouse, I think, and clearly the grandmother is with her. And the grandmother says, "What are you doing?" And the little girl says, "I'm at the Magic Nation." And the grandma said, "Don't you mean imagination?" And the little girl said, "No, it's the Magic Nation." So when I hear imagination, it sparks something in me, something exciting. And the power of imagination today is even more important. We're here to reflect on the past, honor where we are, and perhaps set an intention for the future, all related to the Unity Center. So that Irish blessing I just read, it's been used at births, funerals, weddings, and again, today we're going to use it for our own purposes. They think the words might be attributed to St. Patrick because he wrote in those ways, but they're not sure. But here's an interesting part I just learned, that in Gaelic, may the road rise to meet you. Rise actually means succeed. May the road succeed, create success for us. Hear the difference there? And to succeed, you have to take an action. Success doesn't always just happen when I'm sitting around with my imagination. It requires an action. So at some point in time, each person here and many, many others found a road, found a path, found a calling to Unity Center. Honoring beginning and endings where we're currently dwelling, because we know that we can't have an ending without a beginning, and we can't have a beginning without an ending. Writer Thomas More calls that place in between the pregnant void. Void is not empty. Void is the soil ready for that rich seed to be planted. So today, will you travel with me to the Magic Nation with our ritual items? And if you don't have them, don't worry, you can imagine that you have them. We're also going to call upon the 4 elements, the earth, air, fire, and water. And it says the ancient Greeks had this information, oh my gosh, like 450 BC. Even Aristotle talked about these 4 elements of matter. So these 4 elements of matter are going to align with the traditional Irish blessing. You ready? Not yet. The other thing I want you to know is you notice this beginning of each of those lines starts with may, not can. You know the story of the student says to the teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And the teacher says, I don't know, can you? I grew up with a mother like that. Can I go to Cindy's house? What? Can I go to, until, may I go to Cindy's house? Because can means, am I able to do this? May means I'm asking permission. Who are we asking permission from? It's not out there. We all know it's right in here. As the child of the divine, we have all of that right inside of us. So we give permission to be in alignment, to express our God self. Now we'll officially begin with earth. So if you have a stone, I have a bright red, I don't even know where it comes from, stone. So if you have a stone, I invite you to hold it close to you in the hands. So that first line is, may the road rise up to meet you. Permission for the road to rise up to meet you. The element is earth, and our symbol is going to be stone. It's said that the stone is the tabernacle of memory. The stone I'm holding, and perhaps you as well, could be billions of years old. It may have been held, it may have been prayed over, it may have been thrown. We don't know, but it holds memory. And that's what I want it to hold for us today. In your hands, just tightly, is hold that stone and know that you're imbuing it with memories of this community and memories future. The earth element symbolizes grounding, the foundation of the unity movement of this church as well. So that road, what road brought you to this community? Did you read about it somewhere? Did someone invite you? Did you just come out of nowhere? So I invite you to think on that right now, but later after the service, of what brought me to this community. And Jan, I'm going to tell our story one more time. I attended Jan and Jeff's wedding in 1989. I was confused why she invited me because I don't think I'd seen her in many, many years, but I showed up. And I was mesmerized by the wedding service because it was so new thought. The next Sunday, oh gosh, Janet, what's it? The next day, I went to the Portland Church of Religious Science. The tears of welcome home, what was waking up inside of me. My Science of Mind textbook says September 9/11, September 9/11. So it just has so many beautiful memories with that. So as you're holding your stone, think about your your calling to come here. What road brought you here? And I'll read this blessing. Each blessing I'm going to read is attributed to St. Francis of Assisi. All praise be yours, God, through the earth, our mother, who feeds us in her sovereignty and produces various fruits, colored flowers, and herbs. So I invite you to say after me, if that feels right. Thank you, Unity Center, for being my earthly spiritual home, past and present, now guiding me to a future of new possibilities. So we bless that element of earth, and feel your stone right now. It's probably warm. So we'll move on to the next line. May the wind be always at your back. The element is air, and the symbol is a feather. We have swallows that come to our house every spring, but boy, this spring and summer, we've got crow. I think they're called the murder of crows. We've got crows all over and nests, and they leave me these feathers. I'm pretty sure they're for me. So it's associated with the element of air, the breath of life. The Old Testament says that God breathed life into each of us. But in metaphysics, we know that it's the spirit moving in and through us, and that wherever we are and whatever we're doing, that breath of life is there. The wind, the air. Air symbolizes communication, intelligence. What I love about the element of air, it goes wherever it wants. The earth goes here, fire goes there, water goes there, but air goes wherever it wants. And we can work with that. May the wind always be at your back. So as you hold your feather, here's another illustration. I was taking a group to Ireland one time, and it was very windy, which is not unusual. And we were on about a mile hike way back into this rocky stone area, private, to a holy well, to St. Coleman's holy well. The wind was at my back, and it just was so powerful and even gentle in a way of just moving me forward. I remember that. Try to be in the wind sometime and feel it on your back. That's God telling us to keep moving, take those actions, even if the action requires rest and nothing. So we're at this well, and I had not thought of this in advance, but walking the mile back in the cold, we're walking into the wind. So it was like I was fighting it, trying to do this. Occasionally I would still turn my back. And then we were in this little meadow, and I thought, okay, air and wind, you're just gonna have your way with me. So I stood out in my rain poncho, and I let the wind move me. I mean, it was pulling me, I was twirling, I was laughing. Some of the other people on my tour started doing this, like we're whirling dervishes. But it reminds me that wind, God is in the wind and the air and everywhere. So with this, I'll say this blessing from St. Francis. All praise be yours, God, through brothers, wind and air, and fair and stormy, all the weather's moods, by which you cherish all that you have made. And the affirmation, if you'd like to repeat after me. Thank you, Unity Center, for the knowledge I have received and shared, for the breath of life encircling me, past, present, and future. And so we say blessings to the spirit of air. And as we move on in the magic nation, may the sun shine warm upon your face. The element is fire, and the symbol today is a candle. Fire is attributed to transformation and purifying qualities. It can give warmth and enable us to life, but it also can burn and destroy. So we learn to work with it. Fire in the spiritual plane stands for light. And on the physical plane, it stands for the flame, that flame of light, what I call the indwelling Christ with that light rising. It symbolizes energy, activity, creativity, passion, freedom. It's about hearth and home and warmth, the heart and warmth inside each of us, and the light for even the darkest times. As I said, its element is to rise. This is the only element to rise. So when I see a candle flame, if you have your candle nearby, I'm reminded that its nature is to rise, as is ours. We can have our passive times and our rest times, but there are also times to get that fire in the belly, the fire in the heart, the fire in the mind, and rise to what my greatness is. I had an opportunity once in Ireland 20 years ago to jump over a fire at a ceremony. It's called Beltane, the 1st of May. And it was not a really high fire, but my host came over and said, we helped the ladies over the fire. So one man had me this arm, one had the other. And I was like, I couldn't do it. You know how you stand at the end of a diving board or something? And I was like, dude, well, I was getting over a broken ankle. So I'm like this, and my host whispers in my ear, land on your good foot. And with that, I soared over that fire. And on the other side, I was jumping up and down. I felt that light. And it was, I said many years ago, it's still alive in me. And that's what part of this ritual is to remember what's already there. So as you maybe wave your hand over the flame and just feel the blessing, or you may want to gaze into the flame. That's another beautiful meditation. In the words of St. Francis, all praise be yours, my God, through brother fire, through whom you brighten up the night. How beautiful he is, full of power and full of strength. And again, if you want to repeat after me, thank you, Unity Center, for my personal transformation within our beloved community, past and present, and now as a guiding light, as we each say farewell and move on to our next spiritual adventure. And so we bless the element of fire. Moving on, may the rains fall soft upon your fields. Wouldn't that feel good today? It will come back, we know that. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. The element is water, and I've invited us to have a glass, a cup, whatever of water. And no, I'm not going to make you throw it on yourself, although it might feel good. That was for someone. Water is life for us, right? It said that the brain and heart is 73% water, that our lungs are 83% water. Our skin is an organ, is 64% water. Muscles and kidneys are 79% water, and even our bones are 31% water. We are water moving. We are water moving. Metaphysically, the water simulates, or it's symbolic of dreaming, of healing, more purification, regeneration, stability, strength, all of this coming through the element of water. And so I invite you to reflect on the healing you may have experienced in this community or witnessed either way. As we hold that thought with our flames, I knew a woman years ago who was very, very, very disabled. And she told me one time, we were in a ceremony and we were talking about the element of water. And I'll never forget, I mean, she had braces, very disabled. And she said, when I'm in the water, I'm like everybody else. Nothing stops her when she's in the water. I go to swimming a couple times a week, and I think about it often of this dear woman, that when I'm in the water, nothing hurts. I'm like everybody else. We are water. We are being invited to be cleansed and to be like everyone else through our uniqueness. So you may drink a sip of your water or dip your fingers or maybe even anoint yourself. As I say, St. Francis's blessing. All praise be yours, God, through Sister Water. So useful, humble, precious, and pure. And again, if you'd like to repeat after me, thank you, Unity Center, for the water of life, my life and the life of this church. as we have ebbed and flowed, guide us on our next spiritual journey into whatever community calls us. Earth, air, fire, and water, the 4 elements. I invite you with 2021 is how to stay centered. Ritual centers us. Ritual bridges in and outer inner and outer worlds. It creates a bridge for that. And this is just a beginning of that ritual that I'm hoping you may practice between now and July 18th when you have the big celebration. Let a stone find you. I learned that in Ireland from a Celtic shaman or someone. Don't go looking for a stone. Let the stone find you. And a practice is always, is this my stone to take? With blessings and respect. A feather coming to you. There'll be a feather. It might be the whole bird, as we heard before the service. Let the feather find you. And then fire. Light a candle. Create an altar maybe with this whole thing over the next few weeks. Have that candle there. Excuse me. Light it when you might feel fear or disconnect or concern, and remind us to stay in the light. And then finally, with water, have a cup of water. I do this sometimes when we're in a long dry spell, which we clearly are here in the Pacific Northwest, is I'll say, when it's the first major rain, I'm running out in it. I'm going to stand in it. So I encourage you to do that and join me, is just to stand in the rain, feel the wind, knowing the warmth of the sun somewhere, and the power and the presence of the earth. May the road rise up to meet you. It cannot rise until I take the first step. Will you take that first step, whatever it is, wherever it is? Take your time. Stay in the pregnant void of what is going to call you into next expression of your spiritual journey. Will you take that first step, knowing that the light of God surrounds you? May the wind be always at your back. Will you allow the love of God to enfold you with every breath, affirming your aliveness? Will you allow God to enfold you? May the sun shine warm upon your face. Will you face what comes next, knowing that the presence of God watches over you? May the rains fall soft upon your fields. Will you allow cleansing of your body, your mind, and spirit to continue? And until we meet again, because we will always be connected, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Trusting that wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Blessings.
Thank you, Reverend Kathleen. That was so beautiful. I love how you connected us with the elements, and you gave us an opportunity to create a ritual for this transition, and to remember that we've now embodied a memory of today, a memory of our time together, a memory of unity of Westland. Thank you. That was so beautiful. And I will hear that prayer in a new way now. So thank you. I just really loved it. Oh, so here we are. One of the things that we've learned during the pandemic, we learned a lot during the pandemic, didn't we? We learned that church is not a place. And we're grateful for the beautiful building that supported us, that kept us warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and kept us protected from the Oregon spring rains, which I agree, Kathleen, I welcome them back soon. Welcome them back. But we know that Unity of Westland is not just a building. Unity of West Lynn is a recognized organization. It is a chapter of Unity International. But we know that it's not just an organization. Unity of West Lynn is a legal entity. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. It has a business license and a presence. But we know that it's more than just a business. Unity of West Lynn is a divine idea in the mind of God. It started as a spark, an inspiration, an intention. Reverend Victoria latched on to that inspiration, and she invited others to come along and make it a reality. The rest of us were called over the years to the inspiration and for the transformation. We answered the call of our soul, and we showed up. Unity of West Lynn is its people coming together, connecting, relating, caring, growing, learning, and loving. It's those connections that make the church what it is. It's those connections, those memories and relationships that will warm our hearts and lift our spirits in the days to come. I found a poem written by Lene Monique Gautier. I'm not sure I'm saying that correctly. She wrote it reflecting about her friends, but I found it so fitting for us today. What joy, what comfort to find a comfy niche where kindred spirits abound, where we are encouraged to be ourselves and delight in others showing their true colors. How profound it is to connect on that human level, sharing opportunities to appreciate each other's journeys with tendered words, views, passions, dreams, and aspirations. Life obstacles and vulnerabilities divulged with an open heart, allowing others to touch us in so many ways, inviting them into our private bubble, where some so easily clicked and connect, like long-lost friends who forever leave their mark. And that's what happened as Unity called us together, called our souls together to be friends, connections. I do not believe that we randomly came together, but our souls were called to this sacred moment, that we got to connect with each other on this sacred journey of spiritual growth, of spiritual connection. And now we trust as we continue our spiritual journey, being open and receptive to whatever is called next. And now we have this beautiful ritual that can guide us and be that memory of what we have as we move forward. I am personally, now I'm going to get choked up, so very grateful for the connection and the opportunity to serve this community and to serve the board. I have been touched by the warmth, the generosity, and the loving presence of everyone in this sacred community. One of my favorite quotes by Ernest Holmes: "Nature will not let us stay in any one place for too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary for the unfolding and advancement of the soul. This is a wise provision, for should we stay there too long, we would become too set, too rigid, too inflexible. Nature demands change in order that we may advance." We know change is constant, change is necessary, and change is good. Although we may grieve for a while, we may feel tender at losing the connections, but we know the connection is not lost. We will advance because the essence of Unity of West Lynn is now a memory. It's now held together with the elements of earth, of air and fire and water. It's held with the memories that we share, with the inspiration that we received. And now, as we continue to progress on our spiritual journey, Unity of West Lynn is now an energy. It's a vibration and a connection. Unity of West Lynn now lives in our hearts. It lives in our hearts as that inspiration, as that connection. So I invite you to close your eyes or cast your eyes down, thinking of your experience of Unity of West Lynn. Recall a time where you were filled with joy. Recall a meeting an acquaintance who became a good friend. Recall an experience of giving service that lifted you up. Recall a time where you grieved together. Recall a time when you felt loved. Now, take all of that, and place your hand on your heart. These experiences live on as love. When you think of these experiences, you're tapping into the vibration of love that is Unity of West Lynn. And so now, let us pray. Oh, there is one power, one presence, one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is this magnificent intelligence, is all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present. I know it as love, as joy, as freedom, as power. I know that this life has created all of life. It is created from all of life. It is that divine expression. And so I know it's created me, and I am unique, unrepeatable. I am one with this presence, this power, this life. And so I speak this word of loving gratitude for this presence called Unity of West Lynn. I give thanks for each one of us that have come together to make this a whole, that each of us individually connected to make the individual parts whole, to bring together our individual lights and bring it into that light of fire, that light of inspiration. I give thanks for all the experiences, for the memories, for the rituals, for the blessings, for the services, for the connections, for the friendships, for everything that has been offered, that it's all held in our hearts right now, and we can tap into it anytime we choose. And how grateful I am for this blessing. I call it all good, all God. I know it lives on in each one of us as inspiration, as love, as grace. And how grateful I am for our time together, for this beautiful remembrance, this beautiful service, this beautiful ritual and blessing that we've shared together today. And so I give thanks for all of this with a grateful heart, releasing this word with deep gratitude. Together we affirm, and so it is. Amen. And now I know Layla's blessing us with a song.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Oh, Layla, thank you so much. We have missed your crystal voice, and it's amazing how singing a cappella, you really hear the words. Thank you. And thank you, Kathleen and Christine, for both of your wonderful messages, deeply touching and deeply inspiring. So let's reflect on this week and in the future on both of their messages that lifted us up, and spend some time to really explore the power of imagination to support us in opening new vistas. The way ahead is filled with whatever we wish to create, and the people of our center have been warmly invited to explore and visit many of the inclusive, progressive spiritual centers in our area. This week, we'll be including a list to give you some ideas and some connections. And on our new website, there will be that list as well. And those include not only Unity Centers, but Center for Spiritual Living Centers and Unitarian Universalist and United Church of Christ, all of them welcoming. And while this is a time where the old changes forms, we open ourselves to new vistas, and one does not lose one community in order to join another community. One expands one's life to include a new community. So for all the gifts that we've received, for all the years that any one of us have been here, we have been making offerings and giving gifts to recognize what we have received. And so as we continue to expand this community and include others, let's say together this affirmation that we created for our 31st year. Spirit-led, we are co-creating, truly co-creating a vibrant, inclusive community, welcoming and supporting everyone on their spiritual journey. And remembering that something well used and well loved being completed plants the anonymous seed for something wondrous and new. We continue with the love and spiritual kinship we enjoy with gratitude, all the gifts, all the years have been gratefully received. And we know that every gift has been given and received in gratitude. All remaining resources after we have all completion of our activities will be contributed on to the World Healing Institute, the Regional Unity Youth, and the Unity Worldwide Ministries to support the Unity movement in their continuing activities for consciousness and peace. So let us accept this great blessing and say together, God's love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I receive, and let's start that again. God's love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. We have a few announcements, of course, because there are things happening and will continue to happen. Before the 18th, there's a couple of activities. Our Food from the Heart date is July 16th, as we continue to create and deliver a complete hearty meal for the residents of the Transition Center downtown. Our fearless leader, Mary Troxel, will send out the entire menu. Please sign up as quickly as you can, and we want to be ready for that. In addition, the Women's Circle will be meeting on the Tuesday, July 13th for a picnic, unless Olivia moves it inside. But it's for a brown bag picnic to discuss the future and the plans for the Women's Circle, what we want to do, activities, services, et cetera, et cetera. So we encourage you to stay connected, and the e-news will continue on Thursdays through July. The office is open through July, and there's activities going on beyond. I know that the men's group will meet, and Jim Lathrop, the leader, will get the information out to the members. And then please remember to mark your calendars for July 18th, our completion celebration rather. It's going to be Sunday afternoon, July 18th in the gardens at the Unity Center. Doors will open at 1:30. Program will start at 2. There'll be light food and wonderful music from LaRonda Steele and Mark Steele. And we are so looking forward to that event. It will have COVID limitations regarding capacity, although I think we will probably not exceed those. However, we still require reservations, so RSVP to the office or to the email, wesleyanunitycenter@gmail.com. And you know, as we have all found in our lives, friendships are made and increased through volunteering. So if you would like to participate in helping that celebration occur, it will be wonderful. It'll be fun. There's setup, takedown. Mary Troxel is generously heading volunteers, but you can also contact Sharon in the office to volunteer, or Nancy, and your name will get sent on to Mary. We want to put on a bang up celebration. It will be lots of fun and a sweet, wonderful way to celebrate, because this has been known as the party celebrating church. So you want to be there. Our center definitely wants you. So, and by the way, if you know somebody, perhaps from the past, who might not know about this or might not be sure if they should attend, please contact them and warmly, genuinely invite them. We want everybody. We've gone through many stages in our development, and people have come and they've gone on, as we do. So please invite them. I would like, before we close, to extend my personal deep thanks to our administrator, Sharon McGrath. When she came to work for us about 3 years ago, she never expected to become the key technical person making online Sunday services flow. So Sharon, thanks so much for your flexibility, your unflappability, your good humor, and your personal spiritual depth. And thanks to the Hardy Service Assistant team including Jim Lathrop, Nancy Lilly, Joyce Jackson, and Marilee Payne, and especially to our much loved and deeply missed late friend, Joanne Carruthers. Thank you, everyone, all of you, for the honor of serving you in this extraordinary year. And if any time you, like most of us, require healing and spiritual support for personal challenges or just to be centered, if you simply want someone to pray with you, please remember Silent Unity for personal and written prayer support. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 125 years. So coming back to our spiritual center, our core, our heart, let us say these unity affirmations together aloud at home, letting them touch our hearts, minds, and souls to keep us centered no matter what. My understanding of truth deepens and directs my life. I am ever grateful for my life in spirit. I bless the world with thoughts of unity, harmony, love, and peace. And because I've been so happy to play with the themes of the next of each month, I have to share with you that the theme for July is understanding. So let's say this: with spiritual understanding, I know everything is unfolding for my highest good, for my highest good. And so as we complete today, we move to the final ceremonies, and we have candles in our hands, so you may want to use that. But Sharon, if you'll bring up the final candle picture. This candle represents being a light in the darkness, being a light, whether the seas are calm or choppy. As unity principles have been a light for us so much. And we know that the light never goes out because we are the light. So please join me with the prayer of transformation. The light of God is in us. The love of God moves through us. The power of God transforms us. The presence of God is who we are. Wherever we go, God is, and all is well. So this week and every week, let Spirit light your way. And we have a couple of surprises after the service is completed. And we just want you to remember, please be with us if you can on July 18th. If you're seeing us on YouTube, go with God, go with love. And thank you very much for your support during all this time. And we will say, love and peace to you always. Thank you for the gift of your presence.